We're here with Eddie Hearn at Trinity House. Just had the press conference to announce a massive show at the O2 in January. Start of Anthony Joshua's phase 2. What can we look forward to in phase 2 of Anthony Joshua's career?
Well, the game changes, doesn't it? People who actually come to fight, people who come to talk, people who play with your head a little bit, which was interesting to see the dynamics there at the table, and a real fight. You know, I don't think anyone can criticise Anthony Joshua at the pace he's been moving. He's had 10 fights. You know, he's boxed Froch, Skelton, Baktov, Erich. You know, he's Alvia, who went 9 rounds with Cesar like months before. He's boxed at a very high level. Johnson, I don't think many, if they're honest, believe that after 10 fights people expect him to be fighting Kevin Johnson, to be quite honest with you. So it's a real fight and it's exciting, and the ticket sales have shown that people want to see it, and it's going to be a great night on the 31st.
And I mean, Kevin Johnson is notoriously hard to knock out. Yeah, I mean, do you see this being one of Anthony's toughest jobs to date?
For sure. I mean, I think that the difference in this fight is, like Kevin said, he's had 10 weeks to prepare. You know, a lot of the other fights he's taken at 2-3 weeks' notice. It makes a huge difference. And, you know, he'll be coming to cause an upset. And Anthony's got to be on his guard. Yes, he's notoriously durable. He's going to fiddle him around. He's going to try and frustrate him. But Anthony's got just wonderful speed and power. And I think when he breaks you down, he sticks it on you. But then again, Kevin's going to be looking for the counter punch as well. And he can bang, as all heavyweights can.
And I mean, some names you mentioned them again in this press conference: Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora. What did you make of their fight on the weekend? And is probably more likeable or more realistic is Derek now? Is that a possible opponent for Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, the fight was, you know, one of the worst heavyweight fights I've seen in a long time. You know, but Tyson Fury is a quality heavyweight. There's no doubt about that. You know, I still believe that Anthony Joshua deals with him in some style, and I believe one day that's going to be a huge fight. Chisora looked very one-paced and very ordinary. Again, he's achieved a lot, so you can't knock him, but you've got to think that Anthony Joshua would have got Chisora out there much quicker than Fury did. But again, you know, it's all very well me saying that. The proof will be in the pudding as always. So I think they're all fights. Chisora definitely in the short term, and Fury potentially in the summer, winter. They're just massive fights in Britain, you know, and Fury knows the game. He's a smart bloke. He knows, he just wants the big fights for the big money. And it don't get much bigger than Anthony Joshua when the time is right.
And what did you make of that card as a whole? Again, you mentioned John Ryder in the same weight division as Billy Joe Saunders and Chris Eubank Jr.
Yeah, I watched some of it on the internet this week. Going through it. Well, I mean, Sykes against Walsh was a shutout. I expected him to win. I didn't expect him to win like that, so it was very one-sided. Buglioni fight was good fun, but I think Franks might have found his level there, sort of southern area in English. The Mitchell Smith fight was horrific. The Frankie Gavin against Skeet fight was horrific. The Saunders Eubank fight was decent. I think it surprised me the quality of it, because I think they were both very tense. Like, I think for the first 6 rounds, Eubank was really poor. And Billy Joe didn't look great all night, but he seemed to run out of gas, and then Eubank grew in confidence. So it's quite intriguing because it was quite close. And then, of course, Fury Chisora was you know, would put a glass eye to sleep. So, you know, all these shows, you know, the same thing happened to us in Liverpool. It just, some fights don't come together. But as a show, as long as the people who watch it, and particularly the people in the arena, enjoy themselves, you know, which I know they did in Liverpool, that's all you can do. So it's boxing, it's sport. You're not always going to get barnstormers in every fight. You know, Fury Chisora was the main event. It was. I mean, people were going home and booing. So, but that's sport.
And a fighter returning to Sky Sports on December 13th, Amir Khan. With Amir returning back to Sky Sports, do you reckon that's moving a step closer to see that Kell Brook fight possibly happen next year?
Yeah, I think that's, you know, that's part of the tactics, obviously, from Sky and from us as well. Is that, you know, Amir's a big name, great fighter. Important to get him back on the channel. And move towards a big pay-per-view fight next year. Of course, Kell Brook against Amir Khan is the one that everybody wants. If Khan gets Mayweather, which I don't believe he will, then that's another box office fight. So, you know, it's important to build him back on the channel. He's, you know, not had huge TV backing over the last couple of years, and now he's got it. So, you know, it's good news for Khan and good news for British boxing.
And will Kell Brook be in the studio over here? Will he be out there in America?
No, I'll be out there in America, but he'll be in the studio. He's deep in camp now. Getting ready for, looks like, a March 7th announcement. So he'll be in the studio, and I'm sure as always it'll be built up nicely.
And I mean, we've had a great 2014, the highlight probably being that show at Wembley. What have been some of the highlights for you in 2014?
Of course, the Kell Brook victory over Porter. The night at Wembley still seems like a dream. When you think back to that night, I can't believe it happened. I think James De Gale has been a big standout for us. He's had a great 6 months. Looks fantastic. And of course, Anthony Joshua coming through. I'm just so excited about the future. When you look at, we're talking about the 8 GB podium squad members that are coming through. We're building to the future, not just for now. Imagine the team we've got now, but imagine the team in 2 or 3 years. We've got the cream of the crop, and that's what it's all about. So, very excited about the future. 2014's been a great year, but roll on 2015.
And what are some of the other things we could expect from 2015? Of course, Anthony Croller's fight being announced for a world title. What else can we expect? What else have you got?
You've got a great start to the year with Croller against Abril. You've got the 31st here at the O2. Looks like Paul Smith against Abraham for February 21st. You've even got Golovkin fighting Martin Murray. You've got Kell Brook in March. You've got James De Gale challenge for a world title. Probably George De Groves. You could have Froch versus Chavez. You could have Brook versus Kell. I know that people like to moan, but let's be honest, British boxing's in a great state at the moment, and I think that with us behind it, it's only going to get bigger and bigger. You're going to see us moving into other markets as well, promoting fights in different countries, so it's just a great time.
I can't let you go without just asking, what is the latest with Carl Froch?
Well, I met with Al Heyman last week in LA to talk about all kinds of things. Froch Chavez was discussed briefly, and everyone wants to make the fight, so I'm confident that can be made over the next few weeks, and fingers crossed. It's a great fight, and I think every British fight fan would like a little bit of Vegas at the end of March.
And will you be voting for Carl for Sports Personality of the Year?
Yeah, I think obviously you've got Lewis Hamilton and Rory McIlroy, but I think Carl Froch can nick third. It's great for him to be involved. It's a huge show, and he deserves it. He really does. He's given a lot to the sport, and I think he deserves those kind of accolades.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your time, Eddie, and see you soon.